Ken Ham is a flat earther. He published a blog entry on his satirical website, Answers in Genesis. It's a short piece and so is worth reading. He starts by saying,
"Climates have changed and do change, and that has certainly happened since the flood of Noah's day."
Ken confidently asserts that climates changed and have changed in the past. The reason he can make that claim and be confident that he is correct is because of scientific methods developed to look at such things as tree rings, lake sediments, and ice cores, which provide information on historic atmospheric conditions against a chronology based on radiometric dating. Precisely the same science which proves beyond any question that there could not have been any global flood. He goes on.
Now, we at Answers in Genesis certainly don't deny the reality of climate change. We just have a different idea about why the climate changes and what causes it. After the catastrophic global flood, the Earth was dramatically changed, and much of the change in climate over the centuries has been due to the changes from the flood.
Well, as we already know that there was no global flood, any hypothesis based on that provably false assertion is invalid.
But President Obama has such a disregard for the Bible, as shown in his overwhelming support for abortion and same-sex marriage, I'm sure he would reject an understanding of the biblical flood in relation to climate.
Well, I would worry very much if any president of the United States, regardless of his religious beliefs, formulated policy based on mythology, bigotry, hatred, or religious dogma.
We can of course observe the earth and know it is round and not flat. It's also taught in the Bible, which tells us it is round.
Sorry, Ken, but round means flat. A scientifically accurate Bible would have described the Earth as a ball, sphere, or even oblate spheroid. But of course Isaiah was written by a people who had not yet advanced their science to a point where they understood the Earth to be spherical rather than flat, and thus the description given matches very well to the ancient Hebrew concept of a flat Earth.
But climate change is very complex, involving many variables and unknowns, with much disagreement amongst scientists. What's more, right now, the Earth is in a cooling trend, which is why researchers now use the term climate change rather than global warming.
In a paper titled Quantifying the Consensus on Anthropogenic Global Warming in the Scientific Literature, published on 15th of May 2013, which studied 11,944 papers by climatologists which had been published in peer-reviewed literature between 1991 and 2011, determined that when the authors expressed a position on whether humans were causing global warming, 97.2% agreed. So there is an overwhelming consensus that humans are directly responsible for climate change. And significantly, as more data is collected and analysed and more papers produced over time, the consensus on human impact grows.
It's common for atheists to call biblical creationists flat earthers. Many biblical creationists do accept climate change. They just aren't sure that man's contribution is as significant as the world would lead us to believe. It's a curious thing for the president to bring up the term flat earther.
Now, I think it is completely apposite for the president to compare anyone who still denies anthropogenic climate change to members of the Flat Earth Society, because they are in complete denial about scientific reality. We humans build on our knowledge year upon year and generation upon generation, and so yes, biblical creationists would also deserve the Flat Earthers Association. They are denying indisputable facts in an attempt to sustain a belief based on nothing more than a book written 100 generations ago.
President Obama should really read the articles on climate change and global warming available from Answers in Genesis, but sadly that is not likely to happen.
I don't think that a president should reject a consensus of 11,944 papers written by university-educated climate experts in favour of a book written by superstitious men based on pre-literate myths which imagined that the gods controlled the weather. Thanks for watching. Please
Thumbs up, subscribe and comment.